What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor and privilege that I share this video to you today. It's the third year running that we've been doing this, and it's Chicago Bulls Weekly, ladies and gentlemen. I've missed saying those words, and I know a lot of people actually do like this series, or at least like the concept behind this series, where basically we look at the teams that we have coming up for the Chicago Bulls this week. We talk about, I guess, the outcomes that could potentially happen, the challenges, maybe even some of the easier games that we play, and maybe we give awards out here and there. Of course, for this episode alone, we won't, because there is no awards to give out because no one's played. But it's a very exciting time, ladies and gentlemen, and I really did miss making Bulls Weekly, Chicago Bulls Weekly. So I'm happy to bring it back, third straight year. And again, it just, I get so happy talking about it because, again, it's been the third time, 3 years, man. It's getting close to 3 years I've been doing YouTube. So yeah, again, flashbacks and all, but we'll talk about the Chicago Bulls Weekly. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the upcoming games the Chicago Bulls have to face. I know they're all preseason. Doesn't necessarily mean that many people are going to care about it or care about the results, but it's the beginning of Bulls basketball. We haven't seen Bulls basketball in months. It's been a very long September and October period. It's been a very long August as well. There hasn't been that much of Chicago Bulls news or anything like that to really talk about. So the fact that we're getting games again, in my opinion, it's a great time. And I'm sure we all love the beginning of the season because we miss basketball just that much. Now, I'm going to do things a little bit differently in relation to this Chicago Bulls Weekly. One, it's going to be a shorter episode because we don't have that much to go back on based on previous games. There are no previous games, but I'm going to just make a preseason edition which will go beyond the 1 week threshold for the Chicago Bulls. When we get into the regular season, we will do things weekly. We will talk about the weekly games that we have, but just for the preseason, because I don't feel it's necessary to divide it 2 and 2 when it's preseason and the results don't necessarily matter. So we'll just make a one video for preseason, and then we'll get started on the main thing in the regular season. So hopefully that's okay with everyone. And yeah, we'll get started on it, ladies and gentlemen. So we've got 4 games to look forward to in relation to preseason, and I know many people are going to be very excited about preseason, with the first one being the Chicago Bulls versus the New Orleans Pelicans. I believe this is going to be at home at the United Center. This is going to be a very, very big game. One, pretty sure we're going to be seeing Zion Williamson play. And again, it's preseason. It doesn't necessarily mean anything, but we haven't seen Zion play in a very, very, very long time. So I'm happy to see Zion. I'm happy to see that New Orleans Pelicans team. It's not going to be the Pelicans team of old, the one that we actually fairly had very good games against. Maybe we can have another good game against them, but it's a completely different Pelicans team, and they will be coming with a very strong team in their repertoire. So exciting game there, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like all of our games in preseason are very, very tough games, and they're definitely not games where you can just walk over any of these individual teams. So got to be very respectful for all of them. And the second game is going to be a couple of days after, as we face the Denver Nuggets. I believe this is also going to be at home as well. So that is going to be a big game as well. You got the MVP, Nikola Jokic, here, or again, in this game. So that's definitely not an easy game either. We'll wait and see how good the Denver Nuggets can be. I'm excited for that game as well. Again, I'm excited for both the West games because you don't often verse the West teams. You verse them twice, and then that's it. It's over. You won't see them again until you're in the NBA Finals. So you very rarely get to see these types of teams. So I am happy that we're going to see 2 Western Conference teams that will be played in the preseason as well, just to get a little bit of an idea of how good they're going to be, but also just to get unique matchups and unique teams and unique lineups and things like that. It's going to be very, very good for the Chicago Bulls, and of course the Western Conference teams that will come into the East and versus some East teams. Then we've got the Chicago Bulls versus the Toronto Raptors. I believe this one will be away another couple days after. I really do think Toronto has a point to prove this year. Again, they're a young team, but they did so well when it comes to, again, maybe making the NBA playoffs and stuff like that. They're definitely a team I didn't expect to be there, but lo and behold, they found a way and they ended up being there. So congratulations to the Toronto Raptors. And a lot of people actually think the Toronto Raptors will be better than the Chicago Bulls this year. Now, of course, as a Bulls fan, I'm going to say I highly doubt that, but there are people out there, if you ask them, that do believe Toronto will be better than the Bulls. So that's going to be a very interesting matchup. It always usually is a very interesting matchup between the Bulls and the Raptors. Obviously, because for a long time, they didn't necessarily have a center, and we had a center, but they all crashed the boards really, really well, and they all play extremely physical, no matter the size that they played with. So, again, I like the Toronto Raptors team. I really, really do. But then we got the next game, ladies and gentlemen, and this is obviously a rivalry that the Chicago Bulls and this team right here, the Milwaukee Bucks, have. I believe this is going to be at home as well. A very, very big game here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, for the Bucks fans, they might just not care about it. I'm sure deep down they do care about it, but they don't want to show that they care about it. Bulls and Bucks is going to be a very important game. Now, again, it's just preseason. I'm sure every Bulls fan will want to win this game, and I'm sure every Bucks fan will want to win this game, but it doesn't necessarily matter towards the grand scheme of things. But I would absolutely want to come into the regular season knowing that we've beaten the Milwaukee Bucks, a very good Milwaukee Bucks team as well. So that's what I'm hoping will happen. Obviously, it is a rivalry game. The rivalry will mean more in the regular season, I'm not going to lie. But I'm not going to sit here and say I don't want the Bulls to win this game. Of course, I want the Bulls to win this game. And if there were Milwaukee Bucks fans out there that were truly honest with themselves, I'm sure they would rather win this game than lose this game as well. So it's a big game there, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, they eliminated us from the NBA playoffs as well. So we're going to have a point to prove against Milwaukee. We want to obviously play our best and show that we've gotten better as a team since they last faced us. And hopefully, we can end up being a team that can do that. And then it's on to the regular season. So 4 games, 4 very interesting games. In my opinion, 4 very competitive games. I think if you're looking for a preseason, I'd much rather verse these competitive teams than maybe some of the weaker teams in the East or the West, because they might not give you the necessary competition that you would need to get as fit as possible for the regular season. I'd much rather be versing the Bucks, for example, than maybe, I guess, Orlando or Detroit. No disrespect to those teams. I'm sure they're both going to have better years, but those types of teams, I'd rather verse a Bucks or a Raptors or a Nuggets and things like that, or a Pelicans. These teams that are good, most of these teams made the playoffs. I'd much rather verse them. So very, very interesting preseason for us. And I'm going to end this video here. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Now, once we make the next episode of Chicago Bulls Weekly, we'll be giving out awards to these players. The must improve player, which is obviously maybe you could just consider the worst player in preseason. The 6th man of the week, which would be the best bench player for the Chicago Bulls in preseason. And the player of the week, which could either be a bench player or a starter, depending on who plays that well. But just the overall best player for the Chicago Bulls in preseason. And we'll continue to do that every single week. If you're just unaware of the concept, that's basically the concept. And then we look forward. We look forward to the next game. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Have a wonderful and safe day. Once again, very happy to bring this to you guys for the 3rd consecutive year. And let's have a great season. And let's hope there are a lot more positives to talk about than there are negatives, especially in these Bulls weekly episodes. Have a wonderful and safe day. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care.